Karen wanted a shorter driveway, so I built a giant spiral ramp that towers over her house. Have you ever met someone who demands the impossible, then throws a tantrum when they get exactly what they asked for, not how they pictured it? That's Karen, my neighbor, who turned a simple driveway dispute into a neighborhood legend. It all started with a single snarky comment at a community meeting, and it ended with a towering spiral ramp that became the talk of the town. Karen lived next door to me in our quiet suburban cul-de-sac, where the biggest drama was usually whose dog barked loudest. My driveway was a bit long, winding gently up a small hill to my garage. It was practical, scenic even, lined with wildflowers I'd planted over the years. But Karen, she hated it. It's too long, she'd gripe, loud enough for everyone to hear. It blocks my view of the street, and it's an eyesore. Never mind that her view was of a stop sign and a mailbox. She insisted I shorten it, claiming it lowered her property value. I offered to plant more flowers or add a decorative fence. Nope, Karen wanted it gone. Her campaign began subtly petty notes left on my windshield, complaints to the Homeowners Association, HOA, about encroachment. Encroachment? My driveway was fully on my property, built years before she moved in. But Karen wasn't one for facts. She was the queen of escalation. At the next HOA meeting, she stood up, pointed at me, and declared, "His driveway is a public nuisance. I demand he rebuild it short, straight, and out of my sight." The room went silent. The HOA president, a tired man named Carl, sighed and said, "Karen, it's his property. He can do what he wants within code." Karen's face turned beet red. "Then I'll make sure he regrets it," she snapped, storming out. That's when things got wild. Karen started a petition, claiming my driveway was a safety hazard because it obstructed her visibility. She got 3 signatures herself, her husband, and their teenage son, who looked mortified handing me the clipboard. She called city inspectors who found nothing wrong. She even tried to bribe my landscaper to accidentally bulldoze part of it. He showed me the $50 and her handwritten note. I was stunned. This wasn't about a driveway, Anna Maria, it was personal. I'm a civil engineer by trade, methodical, patient. But Karen was testing me. And then, a twist. My old college buddy, Mike, showed up. Mike's a contractor with a flair for the dramatic and a grudge against entitled neighbors ever since one tried to sue him over a fence's paint color. Over beers, I told him about Karen's crusade. His eyes lit up. "You want to fix this? Let's give her exactly what she wants on your terms." I hesitated. I'm not one for revenge. But Mike's grin was infectious, and Karen's latest stunt, reporting my wildflowers as weeds to the city, pushed me over the edge. "Fine," I said. "Let's make it short." Karen wanted a shorter driveway? Oh, she'd get one. The city code allowed for creative solutions as long as they met safety and structural standards. Mike and I spent weeks designing the most absurdly compliant solution. A spiral ramp. Picture a miniature parking garage ramp, looping tightly upward, cutting the driveway's ground length by half but rising 20 feet into the air to reach my garage. It was ridiculous, expensive, and technically flawless. I cashed in some savings, got the permits, and hired Mike's crew. Karen was on vacation when construction started, which was perfect to come back to a surprise. The build took 2 months. Neighbors gawked as the steel and concrete spiral took shape, towering over Karen's pristine colonial-style house. It was an eyesore, no question, but it was my eyesore on my land, and it met every code. The ramp's shadow fell across Karen's front yard daily, and its sleek, industrial design clashed gloriously with her manicured lawn. When she returned, her scream could have shattered glass. "What is that?" she shrieked, storming to my door. I smiled politely. "You wanted a shorter driveway, Karen. It's half the length now." Her jaw dropped. "This is outrageous. I'll sue." I handed her the permit paperwork. "Good luck," I said. The confrontation came at the next HOA meeting, packed with curious neighbors. Karen marched in, armed with photos of the ramp and a lawyer on speed dial. "This monstrosity ruins the neighborhood," she cried. "It's a deliberate attack." I stood up, calm as ever, and projected my plans on the wall. Karen demanded a shorter driveway. I complied. The ramp is fully permitted, structurally sound, and cuts the ground length by 50%. I even added safety railings and lighting. The room erupted in murmurs. Carl, the HOA president, rubbed his temples. It's within code, Karen. There's nothing we can do. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. Mrs. Delaney, the quiet 80-year-old widow across the street, stood up. She rarely spoke at meetings, so all eyes turned to her. I like the ramp, she said softly. It's art. And Karen, dear, you've been complaining about everyone's property since you moved here. Maybe it's time to focus on your own. The room gasped. Mrs. Delaney, the neighborhood's unofficial grandma, had just thrown shade. A few neighbors clapped. Karen's face went from red to purple. The fallout was swift. Karen tried everything: lawsuits, more petitions, even a sob story on a local Facebook group. But the ramp was untouchable. My permits were ironclad, and the neighborhood was split. Some thought it was hilarious, others an eyesore, but nobody could argue it wasn't short. Karen's campaign fizzled as her credibility tanked. Her own son started parking on the street to avoid her rants. The final blow? A local artist asked to paint a mural on the ramp's side, turning it into a community landmark. Karen's view was now a swirling galaxy of colors, drawing tourists and Instagram posts. Her property value? Untouched, according to an appraiser I hired out of curiosity. Karen stopped coming to HOA meetings. Rumor has it she's planning to move, but the ramp's fame makes her house a tough sell. Buyers love the quirky neighborhood vibe, but aren't keen on living in its shadow. I drive up my spiral ramp daily, grinning as it creaks just enough to remind Karen I'm there. It's impractical, sure, but it's mine, and it's the ultimate middle finger to her entitlement. Looking back, I learned something. Sometimes the best way to fight a bully is to give them what they want in a way they never expected. The ramp's a reminder that creativity can outsmart cruelty, and community like Mrs. Delaney's quiet courage can shift the tide. It's not just a driveway. It's a story of standing your ground, with a twist of humor and a lot of concrete. What do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved? Or did I take it too far? Share your thoughts below. I'm all ears.